What's going on, internet? Welcome back to the channel. I've been asked a few times on stream to do a setup video, so here I am doing a setup video. Before I get started though, this is not an expensive setup, so please don't think that I'm throwing stacks at my PC because I'm not rich like that, despite I wish I was. Please note that a lot of the specifics can't be covered all in one video due to the complexity of my setup. If you want to see specific things more in depth, please let me know down in the comments and I'll try my best to make a video out of it. Anyway, so in my opinion, a good setup video starts with a Silly Juice corner. I love my Twisted Tea and Jack Daniels, so I had to invest in a kegerator and some decorations to add some personality to my room. I run Twisted Tea on a nitro gas setup, so the drinks are always fresh and delightful. You can see here I'm going to pour myself a drink. Now this is an older keg, so the drink doesn't come out looking kind of right, but it kind of is what it is. Moving on, I got to showcase my music wall. I like to play guitar on my spare time. So I have a few to choose from, as well as I've got 3 long shelves for many of my different collectibles. I still have some room, so I still need to kind of fill those holes whenever I can. But let's move on to the main attraction, the command center. This is definitely the highlight of the room. I've got 6 monitors running at 1080p monitors running at 120 hertz. Yes, people always ask if 6 monitors are overkill, and honestly, probably. But once you get used to having this much screen space, it's incredibly hard to go back. Everything has its own place. You know, you got OBS, Touch Portal, StreamerBot, Caster Labs, Tickfinity, Spotify, Discord, Voice Meter, and much more. For content creation for me, having 6 monitors is honestly just a huge quality of life improvement. I do run 2 PCs in my setup. My streaming PC is an Alienware Aurora R12. Which is my streaming PC, and it runs the top 3 monitors, while my gaming PC is a custom build that runs the bottom 3 monitors. This actually separates out my streaming workload from my gaming workload, which makes things run a whole lot smoother. All of my PC specs and peripherals will be in the description. I would like to get into some of the specifics, though, on my streaming setup, because I believe that that's where a lot of the highlight of this video is going to be. Without further ado, let's get into it. All right, so to get started, I'm going to try to do this all in one take, so bear with me here. So I think it's best to probably start off on my left screen here. So my left screen, I have Tickfinity here, but usually I keep it over on my right screen, but I brought it over here because it's very important to notate first. So I have things coming in from my TikTok. Tickfinity is literally just for my TikTok. I have my like alerts, my gift alerts, my new chat messages, and my follower alerts all going over to another one of my programs that I use called StreamerBot. Now, StreamerBot is where I try to make most of my magic happen as far as alerts go, but I plan on doing some other things in here. But just to kind of showcase a couple things, because this is a setup video. So anytime I go live, I actually have Tickfinity dropping a live notification in my Discord. So that way I don't have to do it manually, but also anytime I get a new chat message, I actually have this that plays a sound in my headset. So that way I hear whenever a new message comes through. I don't know if you'll hear it on the recording. You should have, but it's a little bubble pop thing that kind of goes through whenever I get a new message on any chat that comes through from TikTok, Twitch, YouTube, anything like that. And then I also have all my chat commands, you know, for Discord, Instagram, Throne, TikTok, Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube. I have all of those for my chat commands. I don't remember if I have them for just YouTube and Twitch at the moment, because I don't think that there's a way for me to get them over onto TikTok, because I don't think that any of this really integrates well with TikTok other than what comes through from Tickfinity. So for now, I just kind of have it for Twitch and YouTube. You can pop all my links out. Plus, TikTok doesn't really like whenever you push people out of their platform. So a lot of people, they try to, you know, like avoid saying YouTube or Twitch whenever they're live. But anyway, it's too much of a tangent. So I got all my notifications here. So if I get followers, gifts, and likes and stuff like that from TikTok, all my Twitch stuff from raids, subs, hype trains, all that good jazz. And then I also have new YouTube subscribers. The only downside to the YouTube subscriber thing here is that it only goes off if the YouTuber has all of their has their subscriptions on public, so that way people can see when they subscribe. Does that ever go off? I think I've only ever had one go off so far. But anyway, so this is like my alerts. It's kind of where all the magic happens. And then I just kind of keep, I keep a secondary chat here. This is where all the multi-chats from YouTube, Twitch, and TikTok all come in, so I can read everything in one place. This is just kind of like my live notes, so that way I know, so I can remember all the programs I need. So in short, this is kind of like the overview of everything that I use. This will also be down in the description as well. But this is also, I keep my Twitch over here, so that way I can clip things live on Twitch. So that way I can go back and edit the clips and upload them, so I don't have to really stray away from any of my main things. And then if we go over, that's pretty much everything on this monitor. This is my upper left monitor. If I go to my middle monitor here, I just have my OBS where I'm currently recording. You can see that. But I just, everything here. I also have the multi-chat here, so I have it in 2 places to be able to watch. This chat's a little bit bigger, so I can see more of the history, which is nice. So if my smaller chat over here on my left screen kind of goes too quick, I can kind of look up here and try to find out what I missed. But going over to my right screen, here's Trinity again. I just kind of dragged it back over here. But if I minimize this, usually this kind of sits in the background. But this is my voice meter. This is what I use to centralize all of my audio. So my microphone is actually plugged into my primary gaming PC, where this is my streaming PC. My microphone comes in through a network channel right here, which actually gets pushed over into OBS. This is the way I have everything on here. This is kind of a maybe way outside of the setup video. But this right here is kind of like everything that I have as far as audio between my primary and secondary PC. So it's just kind of showcases a little bit on what I do on the background for all my audio stuff. But that's usually kind of what stays there. And then I also have a smaller version of it to be able to control my audio as needed. So, but I don't really touch this one too much, but I can control all of my different audios from my microphone, my desktop income, and all that stuff. So that way I can keep everything nice and tidy. And then, of course, I have my music up here. I have a few playlists that I listen to. The Burnt Peanut one was actually a pretty good playlist from C152 Funk. I thought that was a really great playlist. So I listened to that one, Twitch No Copyright Music as of recent. And then I listened to DJ Dirty J and Bazanji on Spotify most of the time whenever I'm streaming. I know I kind of listen to the same music all the time, but I'm working on more playlists and stuff like that. But anyway, so let me go ahead and jump down to my gaming PC. So on my main monitor, I'm just gonna have to kind of drag everything to the main monitor, because unfortunately the way that I have this all set up, it's actually through a capture card, and it only captures my main monitor. So I usually have my main game here on Steam. Of course, this is also where this is the central monitor where I play all my games. Over on my left monitor, I use Restream. And Restream, I just kind of keep an eye on it. This is kind of where I can watch my channels to see what's active, and also my chat. And it also kind of lets me monitor the stream as it goes out before it hits Twitch, YouTube, and TikTok, because I use this to actually stream to Twitch, YouTube, Portrait and Landscape, and TikTok. So really I get 4 streams out of this. So this is actually a really, really powerful program to use. It's just what I've used all this time for my multi-stream. And then over on my right-hand side, I have my Discord, where I keep track of, who's in my live channels, all my announcements, my chats, and everything from other channels as well. And then I also have another, this is the same thing as on this screen right here. It's the same thing that's right here, but I actually have it on my lower screen, so that way I can control even more stuff. So like this one, this second controller here, this controls all of my headset notifications for all of my alerts from, Twitch subs, Twitch follows, TikTok follows and likes and gifts, and YouTube subscribers. So that kind of all comes through here on its own separate channel. So if I have my game cranked way up, or if I have my music cranked way up, it won't overpower any of my alert notifications, so I can hear everything nice and crystal clear. But that's kind of like the overview of everything. For the TikTok side of things that I would like to mention is going to be the way that I've got my alerts kind of going over to through OBS, because it's not directly from TikTok or Trinity, which Trinity is for TikTok stuff, but more or less for like the likes, because the likes don't always come through the way that you would normally think if you're a TikTok live streamer. So usually on TikTok Live, whenever a user pushes the like button a bunch of times, whenever they stop sending likes, it usually sends that combo of likes, where on Tickfinity, if a user sends 15 likes but they're still tapping away, those 15 likes, if that's what you have it set up to, will always just get sent over in increments of 15. And if you got someone sending hundreds and hundreds of likes, they're going to bombard all the alerts. So I have this set up to where if I send, I think it's 25 likes minimum. So if I send some likes right now, it's actually not going to send anything. There's not going to be any notification that pop up. But if I go in here and I send, let's say 4 stacks of 15, so that's, 60 likes, you're going to get it that pops up right there because it was over my minimum that I had set, which I think, like I said, I think it's 25. But with all that, right? So if I send this a bunch of times, just to give one more example, right? If I send 90 likes, which I think is what I clicked, it'll pop up with 90 likes instead of 60 likes because I have it set up with logic, not in Tickfinity because Tickfinity can't handle that, but I have it set up through StreamerBot. Now, this is something that, again, I wanted to kind of notate on because this is something that's part of my setup. However, it is something that I don't want to go too far in depth on unless it's requested. But I have something that processes all the likes that come in, and it kind of takes every like from every user, puts them into a dictionary, adds them all up, and then starts a timer. And then at the end of that sort of timer, once that timer reaches 0, it'll grab that user, all their likes, and it'll kind of spam it out to the actual OBS. So it's kind of like my own algorithm that I kind of built in to kind of have all this work, like it does on TikTok Studio. So maybe if this is requested, I might do a video just on this. However, for now, I do have a TikTok like processor because, again, if the way that Tickfinity works natively is if you go into your actions and someone sends a like, it's going to immediately send that over to OBS, or in this case, it'll send it over to StreamerBot, which is what I'm using to process all my likes and stuff. It'll just send it straight over, and you'll get like 700 notifications of 1 like or whatever you set it up to be. But the way that I have it set up is I can individually count the likes for each user that's spamming the like button. And then when they stop, it counts like 5 seconds or so just to make sure they're done. And then it finally sends all the likes over to StreamerBot, which then sends it over to OBS as a notification. Well, that's the full setup. I don't think I'll ever be finished evolving my setup because there's just too many ideas that I have that I want to implement, but I'm very happy with where it's at right now. I feel like this video gives a really great overview of everything under the hood. If I were to go into every specific, then the video would end up being over an hour long. But since you've made it this far in the video, please let me know down in the comments, what is one thing in your own setup that you absolutely couldn't live without? Or if you had a chance to upgrade anything in your setup with an unlimited budget, what would it be? I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions, as this does help generate more ideas in the future, not just for myself, but anybody viewing the comments in this video. But without further ado, thank you so much for watching and hanging around. My name is Tamoya, and I'll see you in the next one.